Welcome, Amanda here with Crafting with Amanda, and once again I'm going to do another heritage page, and these are pictures of my aunt and my mom, and then my great-grandmother and my granddad. And my great-grandmother is actually the mother of my grandmother. She must be taking the photo, and that's the sepia tone one. And then in the upper corner, I believe, is my great-grandmother and great-grandfather with my mom, and again in the lower photo with kind of the toddler, I know that that one's my mom. So this Cherish paper, I've bought the bulk of it. I bought a couple different packs of it. I bought the card making workshop for it. These are really working well for my heritage albums. I like the softness of the hues. In this particular case, I am using a flower one, but there's so much variety and not it doesn't like make you have to have flowers on your layout or make you, it's not forcing me into a theme, I guess is what I want to say. So I had this title. It's a wooden shape that I got from a big box store, and I just loved it. So when I had that for my title, it then kind of prompted me for all the rest of the colors and where I'm going with this layout. And I had thought about matting these photos, but then because they all have the white outlines that were so popular in the day when you printed them, I decided to just go ahead and keep them as they are and not matte them. Kind of allowing the age of the white to just work with the vanilla, French vanilla, that's the word, the French vanilla color that's in this Cherish paper. And here I'm putting a banner behind, but it wasn't tall enough for me. I cut that paper off and I cut it too short, so since the photos bridged the whole place, I was able to cut it in half. And then I just showed you the end of me inking all the edges, and I did choose to edge them in Harbor. It still has that gray, blue, green tones that the Cherish paper has, and it's a little darker than the Mist. So the Mist cardstock is my base, and then I'm using this floral pattern as kind of my focal point, bringing you into the photos. And this banner, along with a side piece that I'll add later, again, I'm trying to draw your eye into these photos. And I had some interruptions when I was creating this layout, and kids were coming in and talking to me, so there I was going to get my T-square ruler out, and I had gotten it out, and then I ended up fighting with it and turning the camera off and going and helping kids. And so we're back here, and as I came back, I realized that those two black and white photos were tilted the same way, and it was bothering me. It wasn't aesthetically pleasing, so I went ahead and grabbed my Cricut spatula and pulled that up from the tape I had on the background, and this to me feels better. So I am thinking that I want to do some stitching, so that's what that foam mat is there's a big ruler with stitching guides on it. And then I'm trying to decide, well, where does the stitching go, because I need to kind of have the embellishments on it first. And I had pulled these medallions. This is colonial white cardstock, so it's retired from years ago. Shapes that I already cut out. I can't remember the name of the paper pack, but it was kind of a Valentine theme with a teal color and a red. And I remember thinking at the time, wow, those is a weird combination, and now we see that everywhere. So I'm just auditioning the different medallions and seeing how they fit. And again, I'm realizing that my photos weren't being honored as much, so I brought in this little green stripe. So again, I'm going to do a banner end to mimic the one that's on the bottom. And these are little things that tell our eyes, kind of give directions of where we want to go. You'll notice that I also pulled that down on the paper. I didn't want it directly in the middle because my photos are not directly in the middle. And I realized that I haven't used any of the die cuts from the Cherish paper, so I thought maybe I'd try that. The gray is just a little too washed out. There's some wood grain in there, so that would help tie in the title, but I'm not feeling that tag, so I went ahead and grabbed my wood flowers, and this is going to be the winner. This is going to help tie that wood grain from the title into and through the photos. And I find it interesting that one shape flower can work, where another shape flower doesn't work. And then on a different layout with different photos or different pattern papers, that other flower works. So I laid these out not really paying attention to the style of the flower. I'm not feeling this yet, so I grabbed the sticker sheet because I do have a few stickers on there, and yep, this is kind of the direction I want to go in. So I'm happy with these two bigger flowers that were left on the sticker sheet, but I know I need to do more, so I'm going to put those on the multi-purpose mat so that I can get to them later. And I'm looking through these Picture My Life cards, and right away, I didn't even get through all the cards, I found this one that says Cherish. And if you're not familiar with the Picture My Life cards from Close to My Heart, both sides kind of have the same thing but in different orientations, and in this case in different colors. The back side that was upright was in the grays, and this, which is horizontal, is in the butter shortbread. I think that's the color. But this says Cherish, and has the phonetical spelling verb: to treat with tenderness and affection, 2, to nurture with care, to foster, 3, to hold dear, to indulge, to encourage. And I think that's something we should all do with family. So that just is going to act as my journaling on this particular heritage page, because all of the players, as I'll call them, all the people in the photos, should be recognizable as you go through this album. And so I don't want to have on every page the same people. It's pretty self-explanatory. And here I pulled some leaves off, and I'm going to audition those flowers. That rose in the lighter tones works well against our banner, and then this green flower is going to work well on the other side. Again, just kind of giving it some balance. And I had pop dotted up my photos, but I don't like the wood flowers underneath them. I had used these on a different project for a different layout, and they were just extras, and I saw them off to the side in the pile, and I thought, these would be perfect for this. So sure enough, I grabbed some of these leaves. I'm just tucking them in right underneath the stickers, trying to audition the shortbread versus the toffee color and make it all work. I need to pry up that sticker to get this little leaf underneath there. And this layout came together very, very quickly. I'm showing you here that I have just a little horseradish jar that I keep my Tombow glue in so that the lid is always down. For me, that keeps it so it's flowing. I don't have to worry about it clogging. When I'm using it for multiple things, I don't even have to put the lid on it, because it being a glass jar, if any glue goes into the jar, it just peels out later. So, and this is where I'm trying to find the different shapes with the different flowers, and this one, it's the wrong shape for me. So I swapped to make one that matches the flower that was already adhered, and that just, it was like, okay, this works. So I don't know if you have any of that, but for me, shape and composition, and sometimes you can put something together and you're like, it's alright. And other times you can use those same components and put it together and just put it in a slightly different location. You're like, oh, this feels good. So it's always surprising to me. I do a lot of dry fitting. I wanted to make sure that those wooden shapes stayed glued down, so I did use my block to hold those down. And here I'm going back to my stitching. I have my embellishments on. I'm going to add some flourishes and stitching. Originally, when I had gotten this paper out, I had decided that I wanted to use silver with the paper, but because of that sepia tone or colored image of the 3 generations, I really wanted to use gold. It kind of ties that all in. So how I use my stitched guided ruler is I first go through and just do kind of small holes, just enough to mark where they go, and then I put that aside and I'll go ahead and poke them through fuller into that foam mat. And it's a really thick, dense foam mat underneath. So now I can do those little vignettes. I'm going to have 3 of them on here. I did speed up this so that you didn't have to watch me poke the holes. in real time. I stitched it off camera, and I used just masking tape on the back, or painter's tape, and I grabbed some gold sequins. These are from my stash. I've been finally getting things figured out and arranged in my studio, and I have a huge mess right now in my living room and hallway and studio, but I do have some things that are in place and I can get to them, and my gems are one of them. Actually, most of my embellishments are available. So this is going to be it. I'm not going to do any journaling on this. Hope you have a great day. Here's how you can connect with me on social media. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I invite you to do that now. That way you won't miss any of the videos that I put out. YouTube should tell you when I do that. Here's another video you may be interested in. Be kind to yourself and others. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.